What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand, right here on the podcast. Tonight was awesome, guys. I did that entire intro without even being on camera, so I'm sorry about that. But hey, we had a little bit of a technical difficulties to start off the show, but that is okay. Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin had a fantastic main event tonight for that TNT Championship. CM Punk made his match official with MJF tonight, and he chose a stipulation that's going to be absolutely great for Revolution. We had Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa in a no disqualification match, which was absolutely phenomenal. Those two ladies killed it, and it set up a match for AEW Revolution that we have been speculating for quite some time now. It looks like we're going to have a new member of the House of Black as Buddy Matthews will be All Elite very, very soon. And tonight, guys, on an exclusive here on Outside the Brand, we do have some additional details on the Cody Rhodes situation. We all know Cody Rhodes left AEW yesterday morning into the afternoon. Wild speculation between all of that. Is he going to WWE? Is he not? We got all the news right here on the podcast tonight. It's going to be me solo tonight. I don't know what the heck's going on with everybody, but I did send the link that it's just going to be me solo tonight. That is okay. We love it here. Thank you guys so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. Whew, I am your host, Phil. This is your February 16th, 2022 edition of the AEW Dynamite post-show review. And this is Outside the Brand. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on your Wednesday night, wherever you may be. We got major news. We got a major news story coming out of PW Torch tonight on the whole Cody Rhodes situation. And we will be talking all about that before we get into the AEW Dynamite post-show review right here on the podcast. I want you guys to here's the thing, but before we get into that major story tonight, I want you guys to continue to hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can. We would love to get the stream to 10 likes minimum on tonight's stream. You guys have done it before, you guys can do it again, and I absolutely know that you guys can do that. So continue to hit that thumbs up button. It helps out the channel greatly. Continue to hit that subscribe button as well, as we're on the road to 500 subscribers. We would love to get 500 subscribers before WrestleMania. Turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. Please follow all of us on social media. We may not all be here, but all of our social media links are down in the description below for our TikToks if you don't follow us there already. Follow me on social media. I was tweeting throughout the night on AEW Dynamite. @PhillyMount_ is on Twitter and Instagram. And you guys can go follow me on there. You guys can chat it up with me every single time. Whether that's an AEW Dynamite, a Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage. You guys can follow me there, and you guys can tweet with me and join in on the conversation. Go get your t-shirts or your sweat or your hoodies. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You got some great stuff over there, and we will be continuing to add more designs as we get the store up and running. We actually just added an OTB Wolfpack design on the Outside the Brand Bonfire shop. So if you guys want to see that, you guys can go to bonfire.com for all the Outside the Brand merchandise. So, all right, what am I missing here? Oh, okay. So yeah, you guys can go. You guys can go get your merch there. If you guys have missed any of the other videos that we have done here on the channel as of this week, we got our Monday Night Raw review that is up there ready for you guys to enjoy. And we also have our Tuesday's Talk, where we had some guests on the show, and and we were doing a sole discussion on the Cody Rhodes situation. We gave you guys our full analysis on everything that came out as of that day, and it was just a great discussion on Cody Rhodes and Brandi leaving AEW. It was a crazy night. It was a crazy day. Everybody and their mother was just absolutely going crazy for that news of Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, and we discussed that in great length on last night's episode of the podcast. So if you guys have missed that, go check that out. It's in the homepage of the channel for you guys to enjoy. Finally, before we dive into the news that we got here for tonight, which is more on the Cody Rhodes situation, I want you guys to continue to support the channel in any way that you can. We love that you guys continue to support the channel in any way that you can, and we love to see the growth each and every day that this channel has. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been wonderful, and we could not do this without you. Seriously. So thank you so much. Let's get right into the news. And let's get right into the AEW Dynamite post-show review for February 16th, 2022. All right, guys. PW Torch released a statement. And this statement was made by Wade Keller, according to PW Torch. And this is a big one, guys. This is a very, very big story heading out of the whole Cody Rhodes situation that happened just a mere not 48 hours ago at this point. It was technically yesterday still, but we still got a major, major story coming out of all of that with Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Vince McMahon is planning on giving Cody Rhodes a major push. According to PW Torch and Wade Keller, Vince McMahon wants to give Cody Rhodes a major push for his big-time return to the company. Wade says this, and I quote, "I've been on the phone all morning, all afternoon, nonstop with people in AEW, texting people about the news on Cody Rhodes, which you've most likely heard about Cody gone from AEW and heading to WWE. Cody and WWE haven't confirmed it, but Cody is going to WWE and he's going to get a big push. Vince McMahon is going to treat this as a big deal. Everybody I talk to thinks Vince loves the idea of acquiring a co-founder and EVP and, main event wrestler. He just held their secondary singles championship not too long ago. That is the TNT title. And having him show up on WWE TV is something that Vince is very interested in, taking advantage and making money on it. It could even be a situation where Cody is in a major match at WrestleMania. I literally had 4+ hours of conversations before recording this with people, and I'm sure there's more of that coming in the next few days on different podcasts about the situation with Cody. But I fully expect Cody to be on WrestleMania either as a wrestler or making his first appearance." End quote. Now, earlier today, Ringside News, as many other sources, have actually reported, and they said that WWE is planning a second Steve Austin level surprise for WrestleMania. As we all know, Steve Austin is slated to be at WrestleMania this year, and he is slated to have a match with Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has this whole Texas thing going on right now. So Stone Cold is slated to have a match against Kevin Owens. This could be exactly that. Cody either being a wrestler at WrestleMania or making his first appearance for the company could be that second Stone Cold Steve Austin-like surprise for WrestleMania, as many news sites are reporting. Keller then goes on to say, and I quote, "I don't know if they can hold back on putting him on TV, so I could even see him appearing on Raw or SmackDown next week. I'm not aware that of there being any kind of non-compete at this point, since he's been a free agent for a while. He's been a free agent since December, for you guys that did not know. So he's been a free agent for a while, so Cody could appear. I wouldn't be shocked if there's even some augmentation that the booking plans for WrestleMania, perhaps related to the Elimination Chamber, in order to set a stage for Cody to do something really big at WrestleMania. I think Cody will be getting a big push, at least at first. There's different opinions on whether Vince is going to resent Cody for creating competition or admire Cody for his entrepreneurial spirit and being classy about it the whole way. Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett, and all competed with Vince, and they all got jobs again, which is true. That is 100% true. So we'll see how it goes. Vince saw Cody as a mid-carder, and we all know this as well. He saw Christian as a mid-carder. Christian went to Impact Wrestling, won a world title. He came back, and he got a bigger push. But it wasn't at the level of Edge, which is what he wanted. Which is what Christian always wanted. He wanted an Edge level push. Now, we remember that time for Christian. At least I do. Christian had Christian was going for the world title against Randy Orton at that time, and then he had amazing matches that year. Absolutely amazing matches for the year that he came back. And Vince does what Vince does. He got bored of it, and he just completely scrapped everything that Christian worked for that year. Cody, though, and we all know this just by the way Cody is, Cody's not going to allow that to happen. Cody's not going to allow that to happen by any stretch of the imagination. He's way too big of an entity to be feeling like somebody that does not have an identity, like a Happy Corbin, for example. And yes, that is a shot to Happy Corbin. Cody isn't coming back to WWE if he's going to be that Stardust character once again. We all know that Stardust character, and that Stardust character was pretty much almost career suicide for him at that time during his WWE run. That's just not going to happen. Reports can come out saying that it's a money issue this, it's a money issue that, but I highly doubt that. I really do. Vince is going to strip Cody down to something that we are just not going to be able to recognize him anymore. Cody will be scripted. As we all know, AEW promos are not really scripted. They have bullet points, but they are allowed to go out there and say what they want as long as they have the bullet points met and checked. Cody will not have any creative control, which is what he is seeking. And Cody is just going to lose everything that makes him him at the end of the day. And that is not going to be good for Cody and this run that he wants to go on. Cody is one of the biggest names in AEW, and we all know this. And with every new signing that AEW continues to get, Buddy Matthews, about to be the next one, Cody just seemed in his eye that he was going to be inferior. And that is why he left, because it's an ego issue, like many others have stated. So it could be that, and at the end of the day, if he's going to WWE, it doesn't look like it's going to be smooth sailing heading into WWE. You really think Vince is going to just welcome him with open arms? No, there's going to be a lot of resentment there. there's going to be a lot of resentment there. So I don't know if this is going to be the right move for Cody. Cody did not only take shots at WWE every chance that he got, but he took ratings and he took the audience away from that company. And and AEW is still taking the audience away from WWE, considering the way that Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown are currently being operated by Vince, Bruce, and Nick, not Nick Khan, John Laurinaitis, and pretty much everybody in between. Cody isn't going to be welcomed back there with open arms, like I said earlier. There's going to be some resentment, and I love Cody Rhodes, but the man is going to have an absolutely terrible time in WWE if this is going to be the move that he does make. It's going to be a terrible decision by him if he does indeed go to WWE. This doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And you guys know that I want this to be a work. I want this to be a work more than any stretch of the imagination. Because if this was a work, and if this is, or let's just say if this is going to be one of the biggest works in all of professional wrestling history. Because this has been going on for months and months on end, and now all of a sudden this happens. Like, this is an insane story. This is just bizarre to say the least. You guys know I want this to be a work, but if it does truly happen, and if he does go to WWE, this could be a terrible decision for the career of Cody Rhodes. And if he does have this push, like Wade Keller says, a PW torch, it could be great to see. I'm not downplaying that. It could be a great thing to see if Cody does get a major push in WWE upon his return. But do we trust WWE in order to actually follow through with it and execute it to the standard that Cody wants it to be? Because that's it right there. The two egos of Vince McMahon and Cody Rhodes are just not going to clash with each other. They're not going to clash well with each other, and it's just going to be a very, very hostile situation, knowing that Cody was from the competition and he could potentially be going to WWE. It's just a bizarre story at the end of the day, and we're all going to be here for it because we're all just waiting in the wings, because this is the biggest thing going on in the world of professional wrestling right now, and it's just an amazing time to be a pro wrestling fan in the year 2022 on the road to WrestleMania. This is just insane, and at the end of the day, we're all going to be here for it. That's the big story that we got for you guys here today on Outside the Brand. We are now going to be going over AEW Dynamite tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us right here on the podcast. Now, let's get right in to AEW Dynamite. All right, guys. Ringside News. Let's get this going. Whew. That Cody Rhodes situation, guys. I want you guys to leave some comments in the live chat or in the comment section after this video does publish what you think of that entire Cody Rhodes situation, because it's absolutely insane to me. It really is. We start off tonight with CM Punk sitting cross-legged in the ring to huge CM Punk chants. Punk says that he is straight edge and that means he is better than you. Does that sound familiar? He said that 20 years ago, those words became the foundation of his career. He could be proud that those words have inspired the next generation of stars. Some guys in the back become wrestlers because of him. And then there's MJF. Quote, MJF tries to walk like me, talk like me, and when he beat me in my hometown twice, you would think I would be furious. But Max, I am proud of you, end quote. MJF fancies himself as and Piper in Portland Brett in Canada, Punk in Chicago, but he's just shitty little Max from shitty little Long Island. He won the Dynamite Diamond Ring with help from other people. The rematch will happen at AEW Revolution. It could be a cage match, but Max could still run. Punk says he has one more cage matches than he has lost, which is true. Then he thinks about the matches that he's lost. The toughest matches he has ever been a part of. Then he thinks of Piper in Portland. Punk unwraps a box that reveals two dog collars on a single chain, and asks Max if he would be his Valentine. Punk asks Max to come out to the ring right now. MJF music hits, and the man himself makes his entrance. Punk says, "Take it all in." He pulls out a picture of MJF as a child getting an autograph from CM Punk. This is the greatest day of MJF's life, but to him, it was just another Friday. March 6, 2022, the ring will be stained with MJF's blood. MJF seemed unnerved and leaves without saying a single word. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, two dog collars on a single chain. CM Punk revealed tonight on AEW Dynamite in the first segment that he will be facing MJF at AEW Revolution in a dog collar match. Now, the dog collar match is very, very, very brutal. You guys, if you have not seen a dog collar match, I urge you guys to go watch the first ever dog collar match in AEW history between Cody Rhodes and Mr. Brody Lee. It was for the TNT Championship. It was on an AEW Dynamite episode. I do want to look it up for you guys to get that exact episode. Cody versus Brody Lee dog collar match right here. The dog collar match happened on... Okay. It actually didn't give the date. It looks like it happened on October 8th, 2020. Yeah, it looks like it happened then. So, the October 8th, 2020 episode of AEW Dynamite, that is where the first AEW dog collar match took place between Cody and Mr. Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. Go check it out. I urge you guys to go check it out before AEW Revolution. That way you guys know what you guys are getting into. This is a brutal match, and I cannot wait for it. CM Punk, MJF is going to be fucking phenomenal inside that dog collar match at AEW Revolution. You guys are not going to want to miss it. AEW Revolution, just by that match alone, could be one of the biggest matches in all of AEW history. Could be one of the biggest pay-per-views in all of AEW history. And I'll tell you guys why it's one of the biggest pay-per-views in all of AEW history in just a little bit, because we've got a lot more news heading out of Dynamite tonight when it comes to AEW Revolution 2022. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be great. You guys are not going to want to miss AEW Revolution on March 6th. I know I'm not. We're going to be right here on Outside the Brand reviewing the entire show. The entire show of AEW Revolution. Punk, MJF, dog collar match at Revolution is going to be one of the biggest matches in AEW history. Mark my words. Mark them. It's going to be fantastic. Going to be great. We had a recap of Moxley and Danielson's confrontation from a few weeks ago. And when we came back from commercial break, Tony Schiavone was with Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Jungle Boy makes a three-way joke because there will be a triple threat tag match for the AEW tag team titles at AEW Revolution. And he says that he's no stranger to winning. Christian says that there will be some changes to the AEW tag team division, but Jurassic Express will stay the AEW tag team champions. Bryan Danielson then makes his entrance, and it's time for his match against Lee Moriarty. He is out next, and he got a significantly quieter reaction, but when you're going up against Bryan Danielson, I mean, come on now, you're going to get that kind of a reaction. Matt Sydal accompanied Moriarty to the ring, and Marissa Joan Hart was at ringside. This is pretty cool to see Marissa Joan Hart there. And we got ready for Bryan Danielson taking on Lee Moriarty tonight. This is a great match. I loved everything about this. Lee Moriarty was fucking fantastic tonight. Bryan Danielson is always fantastic in the ring. And we're going to go over the final sequence of this matchup right now. Moriarty catches a kick. Danielson then blocks a clothesline, and Moriarty hits a belly-to-belly suplex for a cover for 2. Moriarty with some elbow strikes in the back, and he hit one to the back of the head. Moriarty then gets a border city stretch, and Danielson counters with a shoulder capture suplex. Danielson then hits a Busaku knee, but does not cover. He holds Moriarty by the wrist and stomps his head in. Danielson then transitions into a triangle sleeper, and the ref calls for the bell. This was a great match. As we all know, we only go over the final sequence of the matches here. This was a way better match than it just looked. It just looked like Danielson kicked the kid's ass tonight. But trust me, Lee Moriarty got his stuff in, and he looked like a fucking star tonight against Bryan. Bryan Danielson is one of the best workers in all of professional wrestling. Bryan Danielson, in my mind, is one of the best wrestlers in the world of professional wrestling today. He is my personal favorite right now, especially in AEW, just because of the work rate that he has, and just because of the work that he just possesses. He took this heel character that he made for himself when he was going up against Hangman Adam Page, and he's run with it, and he's been doing absolutely amazing things ever since. Danielson is great, and Danielson continues to just kill it in the game of professional wrestling, and I love every single second of it because this guy is fantastic. After the match, Danielson gets on the mic, and he came here to teach Moriarty a lesson in violence. Did he pass or did he fail? He doesn't trust the American public for anything. He asked Moxley to team with him to create a new AEW. He wants the answer. Moxley's music hits. Moxley casually walks down through the crowd, and Moxley then gets a mic and says, a decade ago, he was a lot like Moriarty. He was a lot like the other kids in the back. He was young when he took a shot at taking down the American Dragon. He stood face to face with the man he called the best wrestler in the world. He fought tooth and nail, but he came up short. Over the years, he had more shots, but he was never able to beat Bryan Danielson. Finally, he gets a chance to slay the dragon. He never could. but it turns out Danielson doesn't want to fight him. He wants to join forces with him. As we all know, Danielson wants to be in a team with Moxley. He wants to join forces with him. How awesome could that be? All the arms that they could snap, all the heads that they can cave in, all the things they can create. Give something back to the business. He couldn't think of a good reason to say no. So at this point, we were all thinking, all right, he's going all in on this, and we can actually see something here. Is the only reason Danielson wants to stand by his side because he doesn't want to stand across the ring from him, as Moxley would do to him what he has done to everybody else? If that's the case, then he has already beaten Bryan Danielson. Did Danielson offer the team up because of what he wanted to create or because he was afraid? He isn't saying yes, but he is not saying no. He doesn't stand side by side with nobody until he bleeds with them first. Moxley then leaves through the crowd. Moxley, in many other words than just outright challenging him, he pretty much challenged him to a match at AEW Revolution, and that is fantastic. We've been speculating Danielson versus Moxley for a while now, ever since Moxley came back from rehab and everything in between. Moxley versus Danielson is going to be fantastic at AEW Revolution, which is another reason why this card is going to be one of the best in AEW history for a pay-per-view. Moxley versus Danielson is going to be something to witness, and none of you guys are ever going to want to miss that. And like I said before, if I'm not going to miss that for the dog collar match, I'm obviously not going to miss a match between Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson are going to kill it March 6th. And what happens after that, if we actually get these two in a team together and they actually build this kind of stable here in AEW, I'm all for it because I freaking love the work of Bryan and I love the work of Jon. Everything that happened up until this point in AEW television right now, I fucking love it because this is the kind of stuff that I want in my professional wrestling. I loved every second of this. This was great. So, we had a Keithley video package. He's pretty much staking his claim here in AEW, and he's pretty much saying, listen, my first thought, the AEW Revolution, Face of the Revolution ladder match. And once he wins that TNT Championship will be mine. Up next, we had a Face of the Revolution qualifier between Wardlow and Max Caster. Now, this was a pretty short match, so I will be going over everything here. Wardlow almost gets a power bomb, but Caster escapes. Caster with a shot to the back to little effect. Bowens then grabs Wardlow's boot, and Caster takes advantage. We go into commercial break. We come back from picture-in-picture, and Wardlow gets Caster up for a powerbomb, but Caster then hits him with a chain behind the referee's back. Caster hits a mic drop elbow off the top for a 2 count, a very, very close 2 count. And Wardlow then hits a backdrop and hits a powerbomb. Wardlow then hits another powerbomb, then a third, and he covers for the 1, 2, 3. Wardlow is in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. After the match, Bowens attacks Wardlow, and Spears does nothing to help. But Wardlow fights out, and he hits Bowens with a powerbomb. Spears then hits Caster and Bowens with a steel chair. As we all know, he is the chairman. And at that point, Wardlow was like, all right, dude, what the fuck? What is all this now? You didn't help me now. Now you're gonna attack these guys. All right, like what's going on here? And Shawn's like, that's all right. I'll stop. Something's happening, and I cannot wait. Wardlow is the best. Wardlow is one of the biggest baby faces in all of AEW, and he is a heel. He is one of the biggest baby faces in all of AEW, and he is a heel. Like, that's fantastic. Tony Schiavone is with Britt Baker next. And she says that Martinez will not lose tonight, and then it will be undeniable that they are the best female squad in all of AEW. Martinez says it's time to murder a bitch. We come back from commercial break, and Tony Schiavone is in the ring to introduce the AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. Before Page can say anything, he is interrupted by Adam Cole. Cole says, let's give a round of applause for our world champion. Think of all the battles he has had. He's had it with Danielson. He's had it with Omega. He had a Texas Death Match. That was one of the craziest that he has ever seen. Cole tells Tony to get the hell out of his ring. And then Page has earned the right to be AEW World Champion. It's a shame that it has to come to an end pretty soon. Page asks how it was for Cole to see all his friends build a company without him. How it feels to see a championship that he could never hold. Cole says that he hasn't been associated with the Bucks or the Dark Order in months. The Bucks and Page has not been associated with the Dark Order in months. What kind of friend is he? Page says that he isn't perfect, but Cole doesn't have a good record with friends either. Cole says that he knows he's known Page for over a decade, and he has become a great world champion. But as long as Cole is around, Page will always be known as the other Adam, which was a great line. Adam Page, Adam Cole, the other Adam. That was a great line by Adam Cole. I freaking loved it. Cole says he thinks a lot of Page, and when they fight for the AEW World Championship, it'll be man-to-man, and Cole offers a handshake. Page actually does shake the hand of Adam Cole, and when he leaves the ring, Cole that is, he has this very, very smug look on his face, and when I saw that smug look, I knew something was about to go down. Red Dragon. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish then go on to attack Page from behind. Cole joins in on the attack, and the three men beat him down. Security run down to stop them, but they were unsuccessful. As always, usually security is. The Dark Order then run down to the ring, and Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly scatter. Dark Order's 10 then beats down on some security guards, and the Dark Order hold 10 back. So the Dark Order is now kind of back with Adam Page. Obviously, Red Dragon is with Adam Cole. This can mean something in the future between those two those two stables. We can see a 6-man tag, a tag team match, what have you, either on AEW Rampage in the next few weeks, or maybe something in the buy-in for Revolution. So we'll see that in the next couple of weeks. You got a video package for Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. And then we're getting into the match now between Chris Jericho and Jake Hager taking on Santana and Ortiz. The 4 members of the Inner Circle are imploding tonight in this tag match. Eddie Kingston's music hits after all four men are staring down at each other in the ring after they made their entrances. So Eddie Kingston is now officially back in AEW. He high-fives Santana and Ortiz, showing where his alliance lies. This was a great match between Jericho and Hager versus Santana and Ortiz. This was fantastic. I loved every single second of this. Santana goes for a cannonball, but Jericho counters into the walls of Jericho. Kingston then tries to urge Santana to get to the ropes, and he does. Jericho hits a drop kick to Kingston. Jericho misses a Judas effect, and Santana hits a discus lariat, covers for the 3 count. So Santana and Ortiz do pick up the win over Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Great move, great call, right decision there. If you're going to have Santana and Ortiz possibly be one of the other 2 participants in that triple threat tag team match for the AEW tag titles at Revolution, you had to have them win this thing. You had to. Jericho's going to do everything that he can in order to put Santana and Ortiz over before he, steps away for a little bit. And this is the perfect way to do it. You have him beat Jericho and Jake Hager. Jake Hager was down on the floor during all of this, so they actually pinned Chris Jericho, which again was the right call. Like I said, Jericho's going to do everything in his power in order for them to get over, and this is exactly it. When Jericho and Eddie Kingston, my bad. When Jericho and Eddie Kingston face off at AEW Revolution, which is pretty much going to be the case because after the match they do have a brawl outside the ring as referees did pull him back. When Kingston and Jericho have a match at AEW Revolution, Kingston's going to win that match. Kingston's going to win that match so that Jericho can take some time off and then he can recharge and come back fully healthy. Everything is going to work out just fine when it comes to this because of the way that they're actually building this up. Santana and Ortiz are going to do their thing. Jericho can rest up. Jericho can take his time. And Eddie Kingston can do his thing after he beats Chris Jericho. Whether that be for a championship down the line, who knows? But at this point in time, Jericho is going to do everything that they can in order to get Kingston and Santana and Ortiz over. I should say Pride and Powerful because that's what they are now. That's what their tag team name is, but it's Santana and Ortiz, and I've always just called them that. Adam Cole and the Bucks and Fish and O'Reilly are backstage, and Cole says that where the Bucks were earlier. Cole says that he will whip Ten's ass on Rampage, so it's going to be Cole versus 10 on Rampage. Next week, they will have a battle royal to decide the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. The Bucks and Red Dragon will be in said battle royal next week. And the Bucks and Red Dragon will leave the opposite directions, and Cole doesn't know which way to turn. Is he going to side with the Young Bucks, or is he going to side with the Red Dragon? Brendan Cutler, who is actually working the camera for this segment, said, all right, which way are you going to go, Adam? And Adam Cole just yells at him, telling him to shut up and to turn the camera off. You come back from a commercial break, and it's time for the no disqualification match between Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. This was fantastic. I said that this match was going to be a barn burner, and it was going to steal the show, and it was going to tear the house down, and it did just that. Rosa climbs to the top rope. Martinez then hits her with a trash can lid, hitting her in the throat. Martinez hits a spider German suplex off the top rope. Fucking fantastic spot. Martinez then hits an elbow from the top rope, covers for a 2 count. Martinez piles up some steel chairs in the middle of the ring. Rosa hits a crucifix bomb, hits a Fire Thunder driver on the pile of steel chairs, and Rosa gets the win over Mercedes Martinez. Now, this is very big here because what happened after the match is what could set up something big for AEW Revolution. Rosa picks up Martinez. Then, in a show of respect. Then, Team Baker come out to the ring. Jamie Hayter and Rebel attack Rosa from behind. When Baker talks to somebody from Cobra Kai at ringside, Baker then gives Martinez the steel pipe. Hayter attacks Martinez from behind. Baker attacks Rosa. Baker versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Championship looks to be happening at Revolution this year. We've speculated that match for weeks, and I can't wait for that shit to go down. Thunder Rosa is going to be the one to beat Britt Baker. It's time. Thunder Rosa will beat Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World Championship at AEW Revolution. Mark my words. 100%. We have a video package of the House of Black. And guys, this is where we saw a shadowy figure behind Malachi Black. And it was like to be the shadowy figure of Buddy Matthews. The formerly known as Buddy Murphy in WWE looks to be all elite, and he will be making his appearance in AEW very, very soon. There was a tease for a 6-man tag between the Lucha Brothers and Pac in the near future. We do not know the status of Rey Fenix, as we all know that terrible, terrible elbow injury that happened, which made the Jurassic Express the tag team champions. We do not know the status of his injury just yet, but they were teasing Death Triangle versus the House of Black in a trios matchup, and it looks like Buddy Matthews is going to be the next member of the House of Black and will be the next person to be all elite. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be fantastic. We come back from commercial break, and it is time for the TNT Championship match between Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. We're going to take things from the commercial break because I just want to go over the majority of this match, because the majority of this match was fantastic. Everything about this was fucking insane. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara work very well together. I want them to work more in AEW. They need to do more matches because they're fantastic together. Darby whips Guevara into the corner, hits a running elbow, and then a coffin splash. Darby hits a coffin splash on the injured knee. Darby then continues to attack the injured knee, and Darby exposes the knee to get a single leg Boston Crab in the ropes. Guevara then pops up and hits a Spanish fly from the top rope. Fan-fucking-tastic. Beautiful rotation. Everything about it was executed perfectly. Sammy Guevara is fantastic. Guevara can't capitalize, though, because of the injured knee. He finally gets it covered, but Darby then kicks out at 2. Guevara then gets a crossroads, gets ready for the crossroads in honor of Cody, but Darby escapes. Darby then locks in a figure 4 leg lock. Guevara reverses, and then Darby reverses. Sammy and Darby slap each other from the figure 4 leg lock position, and Sammy misses a running knee strike. Darby then blocks a GTH and hits a Last Supper. Darby then hits a stunner, and Guevara falls out of the ring. Darby then goes for a suicide dive, but Guevara catches him with a cutter. Beautifully timed, fantastic spot. You could not time it any more perfectly. Shoot, what the hell happened? My bad, guys. I gotta get back to it. Hold on one second. It's not loading up for me, guys. 1 second. All right. Well, while we wait for it to load up. What the hell? It's not loading up for me right now. Okay. Guevara sets up Darby on the apron, climbs to the top rope and goes for a senton, but Darby moves and Sammy crashes on the apron. Darby pulls Guevara into a position and goes for the coffin drop. Jose then runs in but Sting attacks him. Andrade then attacks Darby with a tablet and knocks Darby unconscious. Guevara then hits a GTH for the win, and Guevara retains the TNT Championship. This was perfect. And normally I would not like an interference here, but this is the perfect way to get a triple threat going between Darby, Sammy, and Andrade for the TNT Championship at Revolution. This was a great way to end the show. This was a great way to get that triple threat. Not only will Darby feel cheated out of the TNT Championship because he did get attacked by Andrade, but since Andrade now pretty much insinuated himself into the TNT Championship picture, he will be involved in that match at AEW Revolution and will be a triple threat match. Last year at AEW Revolution, we saw the matchup between Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin for the TNT Championship, and Darby Allin won that one. Darby Allin won that match. Sammy Guevara won this match in a singles match for the TNT Championship here. Now we're going to have Andrade involved here. What's up, Phenom? Yeah. You've been the only one here the entire time if you've been popping in back and forth. But this was a perfect way to get a triple threat match going for the TNT Championship. Darby, Sammy, and now Andrade added to the mix. This was great. I loved every single second of it. The match was fantastic. The attack was actually perfectly well timed. And at the end of the day, we still have Sammy Guevara as the TNT champion. As Darby, Matt Hardy's back. And I was very shocked that Matt Hardy came back so soon. I thought when Matt Hardy walked out on a private party at AEW Rampage, we weren't going to be seeing him for the next couple of weeks. But he showed back up here on Dynamite tonight, and he was attacking Darby Allin. Sammy Guevara then runs back in to stop him, but Andrade then attacks Guevara from behind with the tablet. Andrade then picks up both TNT Championship belts and leaves as Sting gets it back in the ring. Dynamite ends with Sting staring down Andrade and Matt Hardy to end the show as it fades to black. This was a fantastic episode of AEW Dynamite. There was so much. There was so much about AEW Revolution tonight on the show for AEW Dynamite. We have the dog collar match between CM Punk and MJF. We have this triple threat now pretty much almost but being confirmed for the TNT Championship. We have Thunder Rosa taking on Britt Baker, all but confirmed for that show. We got the AEW World Championship match between Adam Page and Adam Cole, all but confirmed. We have a triple threat tag team match for the AEW tag team titles. Those two challengers will be determined, I believe, next week on AEW Dynamite. Which honestly, I will be going to. I will be going to the AEW Dynamite show that is happening on February 23rd in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So I'm going to be able to see that tag team battle royal. It's going to be fantastic. And then we got so much on the show tonight. The look for AEW Revolution as a card looks to be one of the biggest pay-per-view match cards in AEW history. And I mean that. I mean that wholeheartedly. Because here's what we got for AEW Revolution so far. Face of the Revolutionary ladder match. Face of the Revolution ladder match, excuse me. CM Punk versus MJF in a dog collar match. Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. The AEW World Tag Team titles, a world title between Adam Page and Adam Cole. The rumored matches were in the next tweet that I put out, and the rumored matches that I had here were Jericho and Eddie Kingston, which looks to be happening. Hook versus QT Marshall. If we've seen anything on AEW Rampage, we've known Hook and QT Marshall could be a match on Revolution, whether that be on the kickoff show or whether that actually be on the main card. TNT title match between Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Andrade. And then the AEW Women's World Championship between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Also, let's not forget, Pride and Powerful versus Jurassic Express versus to be determined, possibly for that tag team battle royal. I believe there's going to be 2 winners of that tag team battle royal, if I'm not going to be mistaken. Those 2 teams at the end of the battle royal will be the winners to go on to face Jurassic Express in that triple threat match for the tag titles at Revolution. So we'll see those 2 winners as they get decided in that battle royal. And then I believe the kickoff match will be something between, like, let's say Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander, something of that nature. But this could be one of the biggest pay-per-views in all of AEW history, with Bryan and John going at it, Punk and MJF, Jericho and Kingston, Cole versus Page. This could be one of the biggest AEW pay-per-views this promotion has ever put on. And exactly, Phenom. I can't wait for it. I really can't. So that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be it for your AEW Dynamite post-show review right here on Outside the Brand tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. I don't know what happened. YouTube just being YouTube, it does not either send out notifications or what have you. I know usually me by myself doesn't totally help the situation. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show for what it was tonight. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I hope to see you guys on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Have a good night. Peace out. We the ones.